last episode, we finally collected everything we need to build our iron farm. But the thing with my iron farm design is it needs a village for the villagers to stay in when they're not in the farm. And today, we are making that village. First thing we need to do is decide where we are going to build the village. And there are a couple of things I want the location to have. Number one, I don't want the location to be immediately on top of a cave because we are going to be having quite a bit of redstone underground and I don't want to have to clear out all the mobs and light up the cave and stuff in order to be able to build the redstone. Number two, the location should be relatively close to a naturally spawned village so that I don't have to cart the villagers too far to bring them to the village we are going to build. Number three, the location should be pretty flat so that the villagers don't have any pathfinding issues. And number four, I don't actually have a number four. So, keeping all of that in mind, I am going to start by looking around the areas of villages that I have found previously while I was exploring, and if none of those locations work, then we'll go from there. So, this is the first village. We are checking out the area around, and over there is all very hilly and stuff, so not interested in building there. Over here is flat, but it's a bit too close to the village. I know I said I wanted to be near a village, but also like having villages that close together with no continuity between them feels a bit weird. And I don't want to have to redecorate that village. So we'd have to go a bit farther back this way, and, well, not very flat over here, although I could probably do something about that, but also there are, most definitely caves in this area, so, well, there's gonna be caves everywhere, but there's at least one closer to the surface, and I don't know where that goes. So here doesn't really work. And like here is sort of a maybe. And like maybe we could check out over there, but it's a bit far from the village at this point. So, oh, look at the baby. Okay. Anyways, so we are going to go to another village and see what the area is like around that one. So here is the second village, and obviously over here is very hilly, but over there I want to take a look and see what the area is like. So if we just head on over there, that's our like a home base village, right? Not really wanting to build that close to our area, although I guess over here could work. Like the village is sort of in view, but like not terribly so. Or yeah, here could work. Can't really see the village, but I know we're not like terribly far from it. There is some caves, which I say some, there is quite a bit of caves. We'll mark this location real quick as a maybe, and then we will head to another village. So here we are at our third village, and let's take a look over here. Like if we head in that direction, we can't see the village from here. The ice will make transporting the villagers a bit easier probably. That mountain kind of looks like a house, you know, like there, and then you got like a tower there and like a little hobbit hole opening. I'm not the only one who sees that, right? Anyways, that's just a small ravine, not really a cave. That is a cave, though, and so is that. I'm thinking aiming for no caves at all is a bit of a lost cause. Oh, there's another village curing station thingamajiggy. That's neat. Here might work. Or, I mean, like, yeah, here might work. This isn't totally flat, but, like, we can smooth it down easily enough. That's a pillager tower. Don't want to build too close to that. Yeah, we'll mark here as another maybe. It's a bit less flat, but also there's no caves that I can see, at least from the surface. So we'll mark this as another maybe and go on to the next village. And we are at another snow village here. And if I remember correctly, over here is pretty flat. I know there is at least one kind of cavern around here, but we shall see. Right, so we've just gotten out of sight of the village. This area is pretty flat. There are quite a bit of canyons, though. What if I head over there? This is probably going to be the best we're gonna get. There's no, like, immediate caves that I can see. It's a large, flat area. We can make a little, like, mine entrance here. Yeah. 300 blocks is a bit far, but I'll manage. While we now know where we are going to build the village, we still need to plan the village layout, and while doing that, we need to keep, well, mainly one thing in mind. And that one thing will take a little bit explaining if you haven't seen the video where I actually planned out the iron farm that we're going to be building. So, if we head on over here, you can see part of the redstone mechanism for getting the villagers into the farm, and it relies on their gathering mechanic around the bell, as you can see quite nicely here, you know, all around the bell, which means we need to have a flat gathering area around the bell that is 8 blocks out from the bell. And then I also want the village to be rather orderly, just so that pathfinding issues don't happen. So, let's plan. And this is going to be a fairly rough draft sort of planning. So, first thing we need to do is plan out the general size of the village. And I'm thinking we'll have a wall around here, and we need to have the wall so that the villagers can't, like, wander off or get killed by a zombie or something like that. So we'll have a wall around there, and then we can have, like, a dock shoot off there, perhaps. And then the center would be, like, here-ish, approximately. And we'll have a flat space around that for the gathering area. Please ignore how completely not centered that is. And then over here, we can have, like, a facade of a mine entrance. And then we can have, like, a house here, some sort of, like, refinery workshop thing here, and some sort of, like, dock building here. And then we can have houses all along here in kind of a square. And we can also have some buildings here. And then we'll also probably maybe have something in this area. I'm not entirely certain what, but something. And while we have where we are going to put the buildings planned out, I don't really feel like building every single building from scratch and even if I did, that would make this video like 2 hours long, and I would take me like much longer than the time frame I have planned out for this video. So we are going to be planning out some like module homes that I will use as the base for each of the buildings, and then I will add a little bit of individuality to each one when we build them. Also, this way I'll know what materials I need to grab before we actually, start building. So let's hop over to a creative world and do that. And here is the base that I will use for all of the buildings in the village. So it's got deep slate base, because we have a bunch of deep slate and might as well use it. And then there's spruce in the area where we will be building, so spruce will also be fairly easy to get. And then obviously I will end up putting in windows and whatnot. And then each building will also have a little cellar area. So now we need to actually get the materials. So I have brought over a bunch of cobbled deep slate. This probably won't be enough, but I'll just run back home and grab more when we run out. And we have spruce literally right there, so I didn't need to bring any from home. So let's get building. Now that we have all of the houses built up, well, we still have to put in a wall, and we do have to get some sort of pathing in here. And we have to build up the mine entrance thing that I wanted to put in, and we have to go in and add details to the houses. So yeah, we've still got quite a bit to do. But for now, we are going to start with planning out the pathing and the walls and like what they're gonna look like. So let's hop over to a creative world to do that. And so for the walls, I'm thinking of having fences every 3 deep slate blocks, and using like slabs to like connect the fences to the deep slate wall, just so that it seems like they're like supports or whatever. And then using like walls and stairs and whatnot to add a bit of depth and texture to the wall. And then for the path, I realize this isn't the most cohesive looking thing, but I'm thinking path blocks, cobbled deep slate, spruce slabs, and maybe a bit of coarse dirt. The coarse dirt will be the hardest to get. And I don't know if we'll have enough deep slate on hand to build the entirety of all of this. We may have to go mining. Oh boy. And I think we are going to start with actually a little bit more planning. Specifically, we want to lay out... Oh yeah, we're gonna need more cobbled deep slate for this. Joy. Anyways, we want to mark out the wall and where that will lay out exactly. And then we also want to mark out the pathing a bit as well. And we want this to go up to the river, I think. Out to here. And then along here to the river, we will put a dock here, and then we just send this back in. And let's go all the way out to here, I think, for the last segment of wall. I think there-ish lines up with, okay, it's 1 over. So that's the wall outlined, and okay, I need to eat. And for the paths, please tell me I have a shovel on me. Oh wait, I did. Never mind. Right. So we'll have this section here. Stop giving me the snowballs. I don't want the snowballs. But... And then we'll want paths out from each of the houses, like some sort. Okay, my thoughts are not coherent about this, so y'all are gonna bear with the no commentary for a second. Well, since I'm out of sticks, I might as well explain some. So all the houses right close up to the center here will just kind of be connected up into the center. The houses farther away will have some other, like, connecting paths that they connect into. This here should be a path. And then back here, this will be connected, this house here will be connected to both a path emerging from this house that sort of snakes back through here, and it will also be connected to the main plaza. And then we'll have a path leading back to this area, and then the areas that aren't paths will make into some sort of, like, green gardeny stuff. And I'm thinking that this will probably have to end up being 2 videos to complete the entire village, because we're just going to be getting in the broad strokes this time and detailing the houses and, like, adding green patches and whatnot will probably end up being later. I should really stop running around so much that was my last bit of food. I'm so good at this game. Anyways, I am going to get more food, and then I'm going to cut down some trees and get started building up the wall first, I think, because that'll clear up inventory space faster, probably. I have made a plan. I should probably, actually follow it. And I have decided to spare all of us another time lapse, and I have built up the wall, or the base of the wall. I haven't gone in and added texture or details or, like, the caps of the fences or anything yet, but we have a bit more planning that we have to do, actually, before I go in and do the details. And I don't know, I have already said that we are going to be doing the details of the village in the next episode, and I don't know if I'm counting, like, the details of the wall as the details of the village. Yeah, hi, editing Cricket here. I'm totally counting the details of the walls as part of the details of the village. Not for any particular reason other than the fact that I'm not even done building the paths yet, and counting today and tomorrow, that's 2 days before I have to upload this video. So yeah, we're not getting the walls details done this month, even if I wanted to. We'll see how much time I end up having to do this. Anyways, we do have to do a bit more planning because, well, a village needs, you know, gates and entrances to like get in and out. And we don't have a plan for those, which we need to have one gate up here. Probably going to make that entrance a little bit wider. And I've decided instead of having a mine entrance here, we're going to have the entrance to the town be like a staircase down or something. I don't know. I just think that'll be a bit interesting. It isn't quite center with everything, but I think that adds just a little bit to the mining village-ness of it. Mining towns were typically like pop-up towns. People like built houses just kind of near a source of ore or whatever precious material they were gathering. So they weren't like perfectly planned or anything. So the entrance being a bit off-center just kind of adds to that. So we need to have a gate over there, and we also need to have a gate over here, and also the dock I was talking about. Which honestly, I think the dock is going to give me the most trouble, because I want it to look like it's been like iced over a bit. So like slabs probably for that? I don't know. Which is why we're going to be planning this in a creative world. I'm gonna sleep before I switch over though, just so I don't have to immediately when I log back into this one. And as far as the main entrance goes, it's a little bit detailed. The base is just a like rectangle with fences and gates in the middle, and then I put some walls up the top with like some trapdoor details and stuff. Just, you know, it's the main entrance. It's a little bit more grand than the gate to the dock is going to be, which is just 4 tall, beam across, fence and gates, yada yada yada. And then as far as the dock itself goes, this really does not look like much at all. I'm hoping it'll look a bit better once we build it actually in world, but basically it's slabs on top of the ice and then some ice blocks on it just to like make it look like it's a little bit iced over, sort of. I want to add some fence details, but that doesn't really work. Although I guess something like that might work. Maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't hate that. Sure. Anyways, we gotta, you know, actually put these in our world. And I have put them in world here. I have also smoothed this out to make it easy to put in stairs, which doesn't actually make the incline look all that much worse, thankfully, which I was a little bit worried about that when I did it. And here is our front gate. It'll blend into this more once we've put on the like slab cap things and textured the walls. And then we have our incredibly awkward silence. I walked to the other end of the village. Minor gate out to the dock, and the transition from the gate to the slabs is a little bit weird or whatever, and I recognize that the dock isn't all that interesting, but we can detail it next episode, I'm gonna say. Because I have to upload this video in like 3 days, and I still have to make the paths in the village. As you can see, my time management skills are amazing. Never completely unrivaled. Anyways, I have also planted some berry bushes just next to the houses. So that I have a food source out here, and B, just to add a little bit of detail. And obviously we're adding more detail at a later time, but for now, that's what we got. And now I need to think about supplies for the pathing, because I have quite I have a good amount of cobbled deep slate, but the thing is, I want to use coarse dirt, and coarse dirt means gravel, and we don't have any gravel out here, which means I'll have to head to home base to grab some, probably, and also make, like, an iron shovel, probably, because the pathing blocks are gonna be a pain, and getting rid of the snow is gonna be a pain, and yeah. And then I think in the center we will make this a solid block, although I haven't decided if I want that to be the deep slate or planks yet. But first, supplies. Oh god's leg. Alright, so I have gotten probably too much coarse dirt. We've got some spruce planks, which I'm probably going to turn into slabs just so that, like, we have more. And then I also made a diamond shovel, because we didn't have any iron. And I have, like, way too many diamonds right now, which you wouldn't think would be a problem, but, you know. So now we have to actually, like, make the paths, which I'm not exactly looking forward to. Let's start by just filling in this area with some wood. And I'm actually going to make the blocks immediately around the center solid, just so that they're movable by pistons. Well, slabs are movable by pistons, I think. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm still making those solid just to make sure everything works. And then we fill everything else in with slabs. Like so. And we are most definitely going to add, like, some texture or something to this next episode. But for now, we're calling that good enough. So now let's work on the paths that connect directly to this. So the paths for the front houses here. So we clear out the area, add some path blocks, some coarse dirt, some wood, and some deep slate. And now I just gotta do that a bunch more times. So I have made a path around the center and connected all of the nearby houses to it, which leaves this long path back there, bringing this house up and connecting it to here and this path. And same thing for these two houses here, and then also making a path along the back through here. Unfortunately, I am almost out of slabs, so I have to go get more wood first, and then do all that. And I got more wood, and, you know, turned into planks and then slabs and yada yada yada. And as you can see, I have made the path back through here, as well as the connector paths up over here. We do still need to, you know, actually make a path from the entrance out here, as well as making a path over to the dock area, but that will be happening next episode. So, you know, subscribe if you want to see that, and adding in all of the details, texturing this, making this like an actual little display thing for the bell instead of just a random pillar. And take care of yourselves, you know, drink enough water, make sure you've eaten something, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!